working from home. Before COVID-19, only 7% of American workers had the option to work from home. That doesn't mean that 7% were working from home, it just means that 93% of Americans were told that it would never be an option. Today, working from home is a necessity. There are no hard statistics on how many people are working remotely around the world, but the company Cisco has said that, in China, their video conferencing software has been seeing 22 times as much traffic as it did before the outbreak. Universal basic income. A few months ago, universal basic income seemed like a pipe dream. The idea of sending every person in a country a monthly check, even if they don't go to work, was starting to crop up on the odd campaign trail, but in most countries, it didn't sound like anything we'd see anytime soon. But for the next few months, it's going to be a reality. The United Kingdom has committed to paying 80% of its workers' salaries, while Denmark has offered to pay upward to 90%, and even the United States is planning on sending a $1,200 check to almost every adult American. Automation. One of the sectors COVID-19 has hit the hardest is manufacturing. Anyone working in a factory is an incredibly tough spot. Working remotely isn't an option when you work with your hands, but for some factories, neither is staying home, but for so-called lights-out factories that are operated entirely by robots, a disease isn't even a problem. Online learning. Schools are shutting down in nearly every country that's seen an outbreak of COVID-19, and that's pushing parents and teachers into a whole new era of education for the next few months. Online learning is going to be the norm. No matter how tech-savvy your teacher is, they're going to have to learn how to make education digital. The rise of big government. There are no libertarians in a pandemic, Meghan McCain recently said. Whether that's a good thing or not is up to debate, but good or bad, there's a lot of reason to believe that it's true. Around the world, people have been embracing big government ever since COVID-19 began to spread. Voting by mail. On April 15th, with a pandemic ravaging their country, the people of South Korea are going to have to line up outside of booths and cast their votes in the 2020 election. It's going to be a huge problem, and the country hasn't really had time to react. So far, the solution is awful. They're going to require voters to wear masks and disposable gloves, and they're going to check everyone's temperatures before allowing them to enter. The end of reliance on China. COVID-19 couldn't have come at a worse time for China. They were in the middle of a brutal trade war, and COVID-19 has made things a lot worse up until now. The world has relied on China as its manufacturing hub. They manufacture 20% of the world's goods, more than any other country on Earth, and they have an even bigger role in healthcare. A new political uprising. COVID-19 is hitting our health hard, but it's hitting our economy even harder. According to analysts at JP Morgan Chase, there is no longer doubt. We now think that the COVID-19 shock will produce a global recession. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs. That analyst predicts that 400,000 Americans will become unemployed in the next few weeks alone. And before this is over, it could be even worse. Another analyst believes that, before this over, 7.4 million people in the leisure and hospitality industry will be unemployed. We're going to learn a lot from this experience, and once we know what the real lesson of COVID-19 is, people are going to be demanding change. Experts are already predicting a revolution, one that analyst Cathy O'Neil has described as Occupy Wall